the things that are my principles, the things that I believe in strongly, that I feel are essential,
and that you live by,
those principles basically tell me about the kind of person I am. But then they generate a sort of rule set or laws that I live by, don't they? And this is the relationship you're trying to draw with God, isn't it? And God's laws.
One reason why God created the laws is because the laws had to be created as an expression of God's principles. It's the only way God could appropriately express God's principles in the universe. And so God created a whole set of laws in order for those principles demonstrated. God's nature and character impelled the creation of the principles, and then God's principles impelled the creation of the laws. And so the way I see it is the principles tell us a lot about God's character and nature and God's personality, the person of God. That is one primary reason why God created laws that are based on principles, because without principles, God would be an unprincipled being. Right? And obviously, that would cause all sorts of issues for any of God's creations, because an unprincipled being means that there's no principles, there's no governing factors, there's no laws, everything's chaos then. And if everything was chaos, how difficult would life be? One moment you'd walk out and you could walk safely on the earth, and the next moment you walk out, you fly out into space because of the chaos, This is the problem with chaos as a theory, is that it obviously would not be very predictable and repeatable, and therefore very unsafe and insecure for human life, or for any kind of life, actually. So what I like about the examination of God's principles is that we can see that actually God created laws because God has principles, and God has principles because God has personality and nature, and that personality and nature has to be expressed through principles. So it's quite simple for us to see it that way, but it's also quite accurate.